2 of these live episodes. How many am I gonna do? 1,000, 6,000. Can you hear me, one person? Or not? All right then. Well, here we go. I answer all the questions I have. What questions did I get? I got pretty interesting questions. Will you consider growing the beard and mustache out? Absolutely not. I mean, I will consider it. The answer is no. There's just no way. For now, at least. I don't have a beard anyway. So what am I going to grow? A goatee? Ugh. I'm going to look even stupider. Anybody can do that. It's trendy now. Mustaches are back in Belgium. It's a scary sight. Get a lot of 20-year-olds with mustaches. It's weird. What's even weirder is they got really thick mustaches. I don't even know how they grow them. It's bizarre. Am I pro or against mustaches? I think I'm against them in general. But it does fix some people's faces. I don't know if it'll help with mine. I don't think so. Somebody asked me, is it grippy? And I don't know what he's referring to when he says, is it grippy? Because it could be anything, right? What do they mean? What is this? Oh, okay, that's interesting. Figuring out the menu. All right, a few more people. I can't see any comments. Can you guys hear me? Can you press like if you can actually hear it? All right, here we go. Can you hear me? Or not? Okay, well, I'm assuming you can hear me because I plugged in a microphone. And I don't know if it's working with YouTube or not. Do I have a third leg? Oh, thank you for confirming, Cowboy. Do I have a third leg? No. But I have a third something, that's for sure. Sometimes I get to use it, like when I go to the bathroom. That's relevant. Yeah. Do you plan on having a US tour? I wish I got a US tour. And then hopefully wishes come true. But we'll know more about that in a month or two. When do you expect to be back on Kill Tony? I don't expect anything. I don't know. We'll see. We'll talk when the time comes, and then I'll know. For now, I have no plans, which is fine. Are you going to watch the Euros? If Spain makes it past the groups, the qualifiers, the qualifiers, you know what I mean. I don't know what the name of the thing is. If Spain makes it past the first rounds, I'll start watching it. If they make it to the quarters, I'll watch that. I will only watch Spain play, otherwise I really don't care. I used to be obsessed by football. I used to watch it very obsessively. I'd get angry, I'd get upset when my team lost and everything, but since Real Madrid won 100 million times of everything, and Spain won back-to-back the Euro, World Cup and Euro, I'm like kind of done. Like, I'm good. I'm good to go. I've seen everything I wanted to see. But yeah, I mean, if Spain gets through, I want to see that for sure. I'm not going to miss that. Because that's always fun. But I hope I don't suffer. Because I just hate it when they lose. I get very emotional. I've cried watching football. It's pathetic. Now I just watch the UFC. The UFC never makes me sad. I mean, I get disappointed when my favorite fighters lose, but what, for 10 minutes? Doesn't matter. Somebody asked me, I want to write, but I don't know how to start. How do you write? Written on a PC. I write everywhere. I have like notepads. Use a notepad. I write on my computer. Right in front of here, I've got like 3 Word files. I write on my phone. I write everywhere. I would say if you're going to start writing, just start writing thoughts instead of instead of trying to write something funny, just write your thoughts. You don't understand why Tony likes hands? I mean, keep in mind that Tony and Hans have a on-stage relationship, and they also have an off-stage relationship. What I mean by that is these people they know each other in the same town. You're going to have to repeat that comment because they fade in, fade out. Yeah, they probably like each other because they've been working together for years, and they have just a bond established over months and months of work and challenges, which makes sense. The art on my wall, the one in the middle here, I bought in Brussels. It's a print I bought at a venue that I performed at. They had art exhibits at, where was this one? Brasserie de la Mule, if you're in Brussels. And then these two are prints I bought in Austin that I liked. I think there's like a Austin scene and there's like a demon stuff, which I like. Yeah, I want to write, but you don't know where to start. Start writing thoughts. Start writing thoughts that you find interesting, not necessarily funny. Did you vote in the EU elections or not? I voted for the first time in France this Sunday. Well, I hope that you got the result you wanted. Yeah, I don't discuss personal politics. So I do have personal opinions and personal politics, but I don't discuss them. I feel like that's my private right. Hey, thank you. Yeah, I'm trying to crush it. My point is, he's not a funny man. It's like putting a bad bucket pool on stage for the first episode. Well, I mean, hey, Hans had a lot of decent sets, and I think it's a real grind to be on that show every week. I'm not defending him. I'm just being very pragmatic. I think it's a real grind to be on the show every week. From talking to other regulars and to other people. Oh, okay. I have some control over this, okay. Yeah, anyway. He's not that bad of a bucket pool, is he? He's kind of a... He's done a great career for himself out of being a bucket pool. Hello from Romania, hi. You got a standing ovation and a golden ticket on your first Kill Tony appearance because you're that good, never forget that. I don't. It's one of the most memorable times of my life. Yeah, I was very proud and I'm very happy with it. I love your comedy style. You seem like you're just doing what you enjoy and you go with the flow, and if I ended up working out, and it ended up working out for you. Well, yeah, some people have given me some crap about the jokes I chose for the forum episode, but I'm very happy with them. I did the jokes that I found funny and that I wanted to say. And also those jokes fit within a longer set in a different way. Oh great, this light went out after 5 minutes. All right, well, we'll have less light. Figure it out. Oh, okay, now it's back. Okay, good. So I'm very happy with that. What did you guys say? The other day I saw a couple on the side of the road. The man was slapping the woman and pointing at her over and over. I thought about stopping to help, but he looked like he had it under control. That's a pretty good joke where you defend hitting women. So, you know, okay. That's really up to you to think that's funny. The structure of the joke is impeccable. I'll give you that. All right, I'm gonna move this. What are you guys saying? Boom, boom, boom. How many languages do I speak? I speak English, French, and Spanish fluently. And then I speak a little bit of German, some Catalan. I did some Chinese classes. And that's that. I'm going to my first open mic at the San Jose Improv. That's a pretty good venue to start. Coming up very soon. Is there any tips you can give me as a first timer? I have worked a ton on my jokes, but I know nothing compares to a stage. Well, dude, just go on stage and just assume you'll bomb. People will say it's your first time, so most likely the crowd will be friendly to you. So you will only bomb halfway. And if your jokes are good and you have like new jokes energy, you'll probably survive it and enjoy it. Just get on stage. Just do it. It's not that hard. Okay, this is kind of annoying me. Every time I try to look at the comments here, it's opening some weird menus. We wanted to see you in Fort Worth, but the tickets were sold out before we knew it was happening. Hopefully you'll be able to make it to a show in the US. Well, hopefully you do. Okay. Any other questions? How you let Hans Kim whoop your ass on that stage, mijo? I didn't let him whoop my ass. I just did my set, and then he did his set. Somebody asked, I saw another question that said, why didn't I just roast Hans? Because first of all, I could have done that once the mic is mine, but the rules of engagement is you do your jokes versus the other person's jokes. So you're supposed to do your own material, not the roast battle. I had roast jokes prepared for the interview portion, and they cut that short, so I couldn't do that. I'm sure he didn't prepare anything like the previous time, but it doesn't matter. I didn't want to waste 2 minutes in front of 15,000 people saying jokes that I'm never going to use again. I wanted to use that time to present part of my act and say the jokes I really enjoy and that I've worked hard at crafting. How's Tony off camera? Pretty much like on camera. Tony's a pretty consistent guy. But you get to talk to him. He's a bit more, I mean, you communicate to him about other things on Kill Tony, I guess. What do you think of the whole GameStop roaring kitty thing? I have no idea what that is. I know what GameStop is. I don't know what the roaring kitty thing is. And if you are angry at me for not knowing, suck it. I just don't care. What did you do with your job at the EU? Are you able to write more material about it? It was awesome. I am absolutely not going to write material about it. They pay for my rent. And the thing is, it's not even that I have bad things to say, I have good things to say, but if you're going to write jokes, then it can be interpreted as you having something mean to say. Do you remember the first joke you wrote? Absolutely not. I barely remember my own sets every week. I really struggle to remember my sets. So, but I can find out. I have the sets saved up somewhere. So kind of a jerk. Tony, you mean? I mean, I don't think so. Hey Rick, I enjoy your sets on KT. Do you and Hans actually have a good out of work relationship? No. I mean, I'm in Brussels, he's not, so. Do you guys not like each other? We have a working relationship, it's irrelevant how we feel about each other. I mean, clearly there's been a little bit of a stress caused by all of these shows. That means that maybe taking a bit of a breather is pretty good. You know, I don't think we have a beef, but it's kind of good to move on and do something else. Paul, relax, Tony's a heavy hitter. How has he offended you without you ever having met him? I mean, Ernesto, have you met Tony? How do you know that maybe Paul met Tony? And, I think Tony plays a character on the show to a point. His role is to be mean when he needs to be. He has to be entertaining. Always remember that when you're on stage, our purpose is to be entertaining, not to be liked. And sometimes you're more entertaining when you're less liked. Tell me about that. When are you going to come to the UK? Great question. I'm coming to the UK end of June, early July for 5 days. I'll do 2 shows, co-headlining with Francis Foster, who's one of the hosts of the Trigonometry podcast. So if you're in London, come over. And I hope to perform at Top Secret as well, do some spots while I'm there. But I'd rather you bought tickets to go see my show, by the way. The link is in my link tree, in my bio on Instagram. I think Tony's hilarious. He just comes across as a jerk. Yeah. Do you have a favorite band or album? I have a lot of favorite bands depending on my mood. Mostly rock bands. There's just so many, dude. I've been listening to music for years and years and years. So it really depends on my mood. I can listen to metal, I can listen to punk, I can listen to country, I can listen to soft rock, I can listen to post-punk. I love post-punk. I like post-punk more than punk because it's a bit gloomier and poppier. How is Tony in real life? Douche or sweetie? I guess both, depending on who you are to him. Would I ever see you in Arizona? Dude, I really hope you will. I'd love to come to Arizona. I'm confusing states now. I still want to come to... Where was Breaking Bad shot? wasn't Arizona, was it? Albuquerque? That's New Mexico. Well, I still want to go anyway. To both. For what it's worth, I think you destroyed hands. Well, for what it's worth, I think a lot of people disagreed. But I felt good about my set. I asked because I wasn't sure if it was an act or not. I assumed it wasn't because I know KT isn't scripted. Do you see your style changing dramatically now that you're more publicly known? No, I don't see my style changing dramatically. I see my persona evolving over time as I figure it out. And I see the content of my jokes evolving through time as I get better as a writer. That's what I think. I don't think, so it's like I'm not going to always be a constant. That'd be boring, right? I mean, if you listen to early Louis C.K. stuff, it's completely different from older Louis C.K. stuff. Or early Dave Chappelle compared to current Dave Chappelle or whoever, New Mexico's beautiful. Go and see the sights. Yeah, when I'm there, I will, for sure. Any gigs coming up in Dublin? No, but somebody reached out to me from Dublin, so maybe they'll figure out something. Maybe there's something in the works. Let's see what happens. I hope this year. I'm also going to come to Frankfurt in September, and I'll do a bunch of Netherlands dates in July. So everything's in my bio on Instagram. Coming to Florida ever, probably this year if things work out. I'd love to go to Florida. I went once to a wedding. It was nice. I'd love to go back. I'm a big fan of you. Do you think you're going to use your golden ticket and go back to Kill Tony? Yeah, that's what I think. I don't know when. The time has to be right. But I'm definitely going to use my golden ticket again. Do you have a lot of practice through open mics or other opportunities before your Kill Tony debut? Yeah, I had been doing comedy for over 4 years. How long did it take you to find your specific cadence and your whole act up until now? Well, my cadence has been determined by two main factors. My cadence is determined by my accent, the fact that English isn't my main language and my mother tongue. And the other thing was I started doing comedy in Bangkok to a crowd of expats, which meant I had to talk a little slower so everybody could understand me and I had time to articulate my words properly. And that meant, that's how I just ended up on this cadence. I don't think it's going to change. When I'm a little looser on stage, I get a bit more like talkative like I am right now. But that's how I found my cadence, I guess, just over time. Thankfully, what I like about my cadence is it is unique. I don't think anybody has the same one I do, and it's going to be hard for anybody to end up sounding exactly like me, so that's pretty good for me. How competitive is comedy now versus the past, in your opinion? Well, I don't know how it was in the past. I know it's pretty competitive now. It's completely saturated. It's more, every podcaster says it's more popular than it's ever been. There's zero barriers to entry. Everybody wants to do it, and there's a lot of funny people wanting to do it. I think what makes the difference is not how funny you are. That's the baseline. It's your discipline and your work. Yeah, your work discipline. Your work discipline. And thankfully for me, I've been working for a long time at my day job, so I'm used to just getting up in the morning and working. So hopefully that will carry me through the next few years. We'll see. Time will tell. Rick's the man. F. Hanskim. All right. I'm not going to disagree. How long have you been doing stand-up? 5 years last week. I just came up on my 5th year anniversary. You didn't lose the golden ticket. No, if you watch the show at the forum, at the Kia forum, Tony gave it back to me. So, very kind of him, I guess. And what's your favorite breakfast cereal? Fruit Loops. And number 2, trésor, which means treasure. It's a French one. It's delicious. It's just like these things with chocolate in it. Oh, it's the best. Are you a vampire? Yes, I am a vampire. And that's a fact. I'm immortal. Whenever well, it should be like last time with you appearing out of nowhere. I mean, that was nice, but I'm not going to do the same thing twice. So, you play video games? No, I used to. I wasn't a heavy gamer. I've never been a heavy gamer. I've been a gamer. The games that I've played the most in my life have been Mortal Kombat. I've played that obsessively. Need for Speed. Grand Theft Auto. Guitar Hero. Guitar Hero got so bad, and this is related, I think, to my ADHD, that I ended up having to throw the DVD out on the street just to destroy it. I just couldn't play anymore. I was breaking the buttons of my guitar by just not by trying to break them, just. That's how it felt like. I was just so much stress. I love Guitar Hero though, I miss it, but I can't have it. Right now I don't have a gaming system. I don't play computer games. I play zero games, but I'm definitely buying a PlayStation the moment Grand Theft Auto 6 is out. Who's your favorite Mortal Kombat player? Scorpion. He was he was the first one I ever played with, I think. Maybe it was Sonya Blade for some reason, because I couldn't choose anybody cool when I first. The first time I played Mortal Kombat was at an arcade. It was great. No, it's Scorpion. And then I got obsessed with Liu Kang for a while, and I still remember all of the Liu Kang moves from the, I think you would call it, here we called it Mega Drive, I think you called it Sega Genesis. Oh, I played Pete Sampras tennis so much. Anyway, yeah, I played a lot when I was a kid, but now no, I'm just waiting for Grand Theft Auto, that's it. What did you guys say? Boom, boom, boom. I remember you saying you were into cycling just for fun or competitive road racing. No, just for fun. I used to do a lot of mountain biking. And not good at it, just ride it a lot because we have forests nearby, and so that's kind of cool, getting in the mud. But I don't do it anymore. I had a good group to do it with when I was a teenager, and then those people moved to different countries, and then I moved, so it just didn't. Favorite comedy movie? Clerks, Anchorman. Do you collect anything? Good question. I collect, well, it's not like I heavily collect. Like anytime I see something that I like, I do collect toy figurines, like Japanese ones or also like American ones. But I'm trying to keep it in check. I have like, one day maybe I can show you guys. I can put some on the table here, and then you guys can see. I think on the video promo I did for Kill Tony that came up at the forum, you can see I don't know how they cut it, but I had some Captain America behind me, and I got a few others. Did you play Guitar Hero Metallica by chance? Yes, I played it. My friend owned it when I had already gotten rid of the game, and I played it. It was hard, man. It was very hard. I struggled to play it on Extreme, which was the one, but I could play it on hard. But I was a little bit out of practice by the time I got to it. But I'm a huge Metallica fan, so yeah. I collect comic books as well, but I used to buy a lot of original comic books as they came out, and now I'm just trying to buy like a few old issues when I find them. Anytime I'm in a town where there's a comic book store, I'm gonna go in and see if I find anything pretty. I care about the covers, and I'm still chasing. I've been chasing for, and I don't want to buy it online. So that's the thing. So I want to find it in a comic book store, but I've been chasing for 20 years. The #1 of Preacher. So if you guys can hook me up with a Preacher #1, let me know. That's all I want. I have every other issue. I'm just waiting for Preacher #1. What do you guys say? And I'm very happy. Anyway, I have a few comic books I really like that I own. They're not incredibly expensive, but I'm just very happy to own them. How about your favorite TV show? Oof. So many, right? I guess my favorite in recent years has been the season 1 of True Detective. I just love that show. I've rewatched it. It still holds up. Still good. It's still amazing. Rewatching a TV show, a mystery TV show, and still enjoying it has been weird, but it just holds up so well. When I visited Louisiana, I went to a bunch of shooting locations of True Detective. So no, you only do self-depreciation jokes. Well, come see my longer sets, and then you'll see. But I'm not named Sadman Rick online for nothing. I want to talk about mental health and depression. And if you really listen to my jokes, are they only self-deprecating, or are you just projecting what you think about me? Are you able to live off comedy after KT's success? Not at my current level of standard of living. I would have to take a downgrade, which I wouldn't mind. If you could be any animal, what would it be and why? I'm already an animal. What are you talking about? DC or Marvel? Marvel. There's a bunch of DC stuff I really like, but on average, statistically, I would say Marvel without a doubt. But all I care is about good art. Ever thought about acting? Thought, yes, but I mean, so far nothing's in the works. So if there's anything good in the works that's being offered to me, I'll entertain it. But I'm gonna be a bad actor. I think I have a good face to be a character actor. Like if I got good at it, I have a weird, awkward body. So I could definitely be a character actor. Have you seen Tires on Netflix? Yeah, I watched it. I thought it was good. I thought it was really good. I didn't know what to expect before it came out. I thought they were going to go a little harder, to be honest. You can see they tried to go hard, and they've gone as hard as they could with the current state of what's allowed to be said in a comedy. But they were still holding back a little bit. But I appreciated it. I really liked it. I think it would be perfect on a comedy show like that. Maybe. I don't think I've earned my dues to be on that. I think I should start with a bunch of other things, and over time get the skills needed to do that. Because it looks underrated, because they make it look like a faux documentary kind of vibe, a little bit like The Office. But it takes some chops to be on that thing and be funny. Thinking of starting your own podcast? Yes, but now is not the time. I'm doing these lives for now, and I have some ideas for what I'd like to do for a podcast, but it's gonna depend. Maybe next year if the circumstances are right. Have you ever been gagged? Unfortunately, not. I need to find the right person. Hey man, I'm super busy, so I can't stay and watch, but I wanted you to know you're hilarious and original. Keep grinding. Thank you so much. I will keep grinding. And take care, man. Go back to work. What's your favorite Hans Kim joke? Good question. None. I mean, I honestly don't remember them. I don't really care. Oh, my favorite Hans Kim joke, if Hans is ever listening, is the one where he said he survived the Holocaust. His grandparents survived the Holocaust. That is definitely my favorite Hans Kim joke. Did you get a chance to hang out with William Montgomery? I hung out a little bit with him at the shows. And then I did his podcast with KT Rocket, but I haven't hung out with him other than at the shows. But he's a lovely guy. He's really just lovely. I'm a huge William Montgomery fan as a person and his comedy. What did you have in mind when you challenged Hans Kim? Creating a memorable moment. That's what I had in mind. Was it as per the moment, or did you want to become the new regular? I did want to become the new regular. I think I would crush it. I don't know what ever means, so either explain it or I can't answer that. Do you want to be a guest on the Joe Rogan podcast? When I have the right thing to promote, sure. Have you been fishing with David Lucas yet? No, because I haven't been in the US long enough for it to happen. We almost made it happen in Texas, and then the weather was crap. It was too cold, so we had to cancel it. That's when we did that, we switched it to that interview that we did. Somebody asked me, when do you go to Montreux? Montreux is a huge comedy festival, kind of like the European Just for Laughs. I know Just for Laughs has its issues right now, but it's still a huge institution. Could you share more your interest and driver in poker? Those are two different questions. I don't know when I'll go to Montreux. I auditioned for it and they passed, so maybe later, we'll see. And my interest in poker. I mean, I just used to play it weekly with friends and read books, and I got really into it, but I never thought I'd be good enough to do it professionally, because I can't maintain my concentration for enough hours. Like I always end up on tilt for some reason. Different types of tilts. Some are obvious tilts, but some are just my brain is really tired and I start taking really bad decisions. So that's, I consider it still a tilt, maybe a less visible one. Biggest pair of naked titties you've ever seen? That's such a good question. It was big. It was pretty big, but not crazy big. But it was nice, it was memorable. What's your fee? I want your ass in Florida. Well, go to my Instagram, there's an email button that goes to my management and they will tell you. It will depend on the venue, the dates. Was it my mom's? No, I've seen bigger than my mom's. Probably was you, or you sound like you're fat. Do you really hate Hans, or was that just part of the act? I don't think... I've never really rewatched the shows, so I don't know how I came across. Of course, I had to rewatch them to cut clips and stuff, but I never rewatched them as like with the mindset of a spectator. To me, it was more, I think he's bombing, I can beat him, rather than I hate him, right? So it wasn't about me hating him as much as it was me thinking I can take the guy because he's not been doing great. Gotta go back to work. Yeah, dude. Yeah, we gotta do what we gotta do. That's why I'm doing this at this hour. You enjoy the U.S.? Of course I enjoy the U.S. Otherwise I wouldn't have gone. And I love it there. It's great. What are your thoughts on Redban, one of the most successful podcaster in history? I personally don't know much about him, but I like him on the show. Yeah, he's a likable guy. I would say Redban is off stage what you see on stage. He's pretty much Redban all the time. He's a nice guy. He's very business-minded in a good way. He's got generally a pretty chill attitude. And he's at that age, which is similar to mine, where he's not taking too much shit from anybody anymore, and he's earned that right. He's just been incredibly successful. Can you use the same jokes in the US as you use in Brussels? P.S. Saw you at the store in LA. Well, of course I can use the same jokes, otherwise how would I practice? Yeah, I use the same jokes here all the time. Yeah, I write them here, I perform them in Brussels, all over Belgium, in French and English, and that's it. There's just a few jokes I struggle to translate, so those I can't use, but that's it. What did you guys say? I think your comedy is basically punchline after punchline. Yeah, that's called comedy. Something that takes 10 times more an effort than what Hans Kim does. Actually, Hans also writes structured jokes. There's just slightly longer than one-liners, but he's a joke writer like I am. I just go shorter. So I'm trying to learn to tag it up a little more. I've been working on tags in the past few weeks. So my target is that some of the jokes that you guys know or have heard on the show, I'd be able to say them, but followed by funnier things. So let's see how that develops in the future. I'm also writing on other things. But yeah, what I like about one-liners is just hammering punchlines. That's what I like. I feel like if I'm on the right roll, I can be between 8 to 9 laughs per minute. And on average, I try not to go under 4. And I think that's a standard that we have to abide by. Are you planning to travel in Georgia, the country? Thank you for specifying. Is that where Morab Dvalishvili is from? I think so. So far, no. There's many countries I don't know this. Are there comedy clubs in Georgia right now? Would they pay to have me over? Because I'll go. I'd love to go see Georgia. I hear it's beautiful over there. Get him, Rick. Yeah, I try. I'm definitely not against going to Georgia. How many inches weight you do centimeters? Sufficient. Favorite UFC fighter or just UFC moment? Ooh, good question. Okay, my favorite UFC fighters have evolved over time. My current UFC fighter, and he's been so for a while, and even before he won his first title, is Max Holloway. I just think he's amazing. I like his attitude. I like how he is in interviews. And I love his fighting style because he's good at submission, striking, everything, and he's just like, he deserves that BMF belt for sure. But before that, who did I like? I mean, Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz was my favorite fighter for a long time. I just would wish he fought a little more, but I think maybe if he only lost like 5% of his edge because of age, then it's tough. That's why I want to see Nick Diaz fight. I used to love Frank Mir, what was their name? The Noriega. Jesus Christ, the Brazilian twin brothers. What was their names? They were breaking arms and stuff. Anyway, pride never die, right? No, dude, I I like strikers more than I like grapplers, just because in my family there's been people doing martial arts for many years. There's European kickboxing champions and stuff like that. So I followed K1 before I followed the UFC. I just love striking more in general, but I think it's fun that it's mixed up with grappling, and that's why I love the UFC. Yeah, Topuria, yeah, dude, Topuria. I want to see Topuria fight Max Holloway so bad. It's going to be a great one. Favorite UFC moment? Oh, Robbie Lawler against, what's his name? Tell me. A Canadian guy. Jesus Christ, that's the best fight in UFC history. Yeah, Nogueira brothers. Thank you very much. What's his name? What's his name? Robbie Lawler versus Rory McDonald. Yeah, I had to research that. I can't disrespect Rory. Rory was amazing. That fight, dude. That fight. If you ever watch, are you a fan of Alistair Overeem, the Reem? Of course, I'm a fan of the Reem, dude. He's Dutch. The Dutch kickboxing school. He's the last legacy of that. Horse meat, dude. Yeah, I think he came to the UFC a little too old. If he had come in a little younger, he would have dominated. But maybe he needed time to prepare for the grappling side, and then he stayed in kickboxing for too long. Do you find it hard at all to write jokes that bridge the cultural gap between where you are from and where you're from in the US? No. I mean, that's why I'm trying to write jokes. You think it's self-deprecating, but I'm trying to focus on core emotions. And I think we all live through these. Now, culturally, some societies are more in touch with addressing those, and some are less. But that's it. Lawler went out like a gangster. Oh, yes, he did. He definitely did. That was amazing. You know what? I do wish that Nick Diaz had a better training camp. I think he said he had trouble during his training camp. He was hitting Robbie hard. He was laying punch after punch, but he just faded. And he wasn't ready for that fight. He would have needed a few more weeks, and I think it would have been a more interesting fight. Is Chimaev overrated? Well, right now what he is injured. Why did you cancel your fight? I really wanted to see him against Whitaker. I think that would have been such a way to know whether he's overrated or not. I felt like he did deserve the win, even though he kinda, to a point, there were reasons why he deserved the win against, the Brazilian dude. And then against Usman, I think he definitely deserved the win. But against Whitaker, I wanted to see that. Are you going to watch the opening Euro 2024 match? And who am I rooting for? I'm rooting for Spain every time in every Euro or World Cup competition. The only teams I'll root for that are not Spain are going to be Belgium, maybe Greece. I generally like the Scandinavian teams. Teams I will never root for, no matter what happens. No matter what happens. And that doesn't mean I have friends there, okay? I respect the people, I love the culture, I love everybody. I'll never root for France, and I'll never root for England. You guys are historical enemies, and we're there to beat you. But otherwise, honestly, I just wish for good games and with fair results. As long as the result is not unfair, there's not like a canceled goal or some weird referee decision, I'm fine with whatever the result is. You know, win or lose, as long as it's fair, it's cool. Because those people are going on those pitches really giving their all. And what makes it really sad for everybody is when the result becomes unfair. But if one team dominates another team, what are you going to do? It's just what it is. Favorite movie of all time? I was talking about this movie the other day. I don't know if it's my favorite all time, but it's definitely like top 5 for sure. It's The Silence of the Lambs. It's got everything. It's got some subtle comedy. It's got the thriller. It's got great directing, great photography, great script, great acting. It's just great all over. And that's what the benchmark should be for anybody's favorite movie. Can I help you beat the shit out of Hans? No, I don't want to beat the shit out of Hans. I just be a nice person, and instead of beating the shit out of people, just help whoever needs help around you. Have you had the chance to perform in Mexico? No, and I wish to one day. I really want. I want to travel to Mexico, period. regardless of whether I can perform or not. Hey, I'm new to open mics and I was wondering if there's any good advice for people starting off. Yeah, get on stage and bomb. And then watch comedy. And don't watch comedy from the greats. Maybe that's a good advice that I didn't get. Don't watch comedy, watch comedy from the greats to enjoy comedy. But when you're starting out, there's no point in trying to study the greats because they're so far from you that you will not understand what they're doing. But when you're at an open mic, carefully watch the people that are a bit ahead of you, people that are 1 year, that are 1 year in, or 2 years in, or 3 years in, and look at what they do, because that's more, you're closer to that, so you can study what they're doing, and then get to that level, and then you will understand what the people that are above that are doing. That's why I'm trying to if I watch comedians I really love, I'm not trying to figure out their set, I'm just trying to laugh. Will Anderson Silva beat Chael Sonnen this week? Yes, I'm pretty sure he will. I'd really be surprised if he didn't. He's gonna be a better boxer, right? Has Chael even done boxing? It's a boxing match, right? I don't see Chael beating Anderson in a boxing match. There's just no way. Hey, if Chael beats Anderson Silva, good for him. Honestly, good for you. Good for you. I just hope it's not even maybe it's a fixed fight for all we know. It's just for show. I have no idea. And if it is, go make that money. I don't care. Have you ever drank a Monk's Cafe sour beer? No. Will you ever come to Poland? I hope so. I'd love to come to Poland. But it's just, I need to find gigs where it makes sense. I don't want to travel to Poland just to do gigs that don't pay enough to cover my travel costs. Otherwise, it's really expensive. When will you come to New York? I don't know. So far, no plans. When are you going to move to Austin? Dude, just do it. We'll see. When you're visiting Austin again, we'll see. Top 5 favorite comedians. I think I answered that last week. Is there somebody that isn't a comic that you were most excited to meet? I met the camera guy from Jackass, Rick Kosick. That was nice. He's a really nice guy. I got excited to meet somebody from the Jackass crew. I loved Jackass back in the day, dude. They really showed you can be stupid and make money. And by stupid they were really organized. But you can do something crazy and fun, and create entertainment. Favorite beer from Belgium, whichever one is far away from me. I don't drink alcohol, so I don't have a favorite beer from Belgium. Right? There's definitely a lot of beers here. Hundreds and hundreds of them. You can have anything you want. Do you have kids? No. I have immature open micers. That's what I have. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, here we go. Do you think if Tony used a decimal sound meter during the first face-up with Hans, you would have won? I really don't know. They also cut off the applause, so maybe. On stage, the pop I got felt louder for Hans, but maybe I was hearing more the front of the crowd. So, it's hard to say. They would have had to have those decibel meters all over the place. Do you have any positive affirmations for living a joyous life? Well, interesting thing, I have, what vices do you have? I'll get back to that. Do you have any positive affirmations? I used to have positive affirmations. I saw a YouTube video about psychology. There's been some study that shows that positive affirmations are bullshit. The reason being that you're setting yourself up for expectations that you made, and then you may end up disappointing yourself and feeling worse. So for a lot of people, positive affirmations don't work. What I did have that really helped me out for a while was affirmations that helped me with my ADHD and my temper tantrums to control my emotions when I was losing it. So I had things on my laptop. At work, I had a Post-it. I don't have it with me now, but I had like a list that my therapist helped me make back in the day to tell me like, no, this is what's happening to you, and this is how you can control your emotions right now. This is temporary. This is just, you're not an angry person. You're just you're just losing it right now. And that's what happens, right? So for me, my ADHD, sometimes I'll either get paranoid or too sad, or because I misunderstand social cues a lot. I'm not autistic, but my ADHD plays into that. And then I'll have unexpected information come in at a time where I'm under stress, and that will make me lose my shit. So you know, like I'll get angry in traffic for no reason, for something small, so that's where these affirmations help me. But now I remember them, like I haven't memorized them clearly, but I've memorized the gist of it. So I bring myself back to a more centered balance much faster now, and now I'm also able to detect triggers and stay away from them. So if I'm entering a situation that's emotionally overwhelming, I'll try to get away from it. Like an example was, when I was at the Kia Forum, and it was still they had a room for all of the artists to wait in, but also had a lot of VIP guests coming through. So it was maybe there were 30 people in that room while we were preparing for the show, and it was really stressful. So what I did was, instead of trying to tell myself I have to stay in this room, was I was taking breathers outside and going to places like, it was just a couple of corridors away where I could just stay alone and just rehearse my act, but mostly just stay in silence, you know. Do you have any what vices do you have, if any? I mean, if I have to say a vice I had was porn. I'm trying to like just cut it off. It's not good. It's not good. I don't have any substance vices. I'm not addicted to any substances. But good ones that I have are, I like jamon. I like cold cuts. I like good cheese. Those are little vices I have. I don't smoke. I don't smoke weed. Yeah. You won both times, I agree. At least I won. It was a victory towards myself in terms of how I improved my comedy and stuff, you know. Do you watch anime? And so what is your favorite? I mean, I don't actively watch it right now. If there's any good movies. I read mangas from time to time. I've read some good mangas. I'd have to go over the list. I like 20th Century Boys was amazing. But back in the, I mean, I'm a huge Akira fan. I'm a huge Ghost in the Shell fan. I've read the mangas. I've watched the animes. A huge Dragon Ball fan. But I kind of gave up after Dragon Ball Z. I thought it lost the funny. Already in Dragon Ball Z, it lost the funny. And after that, it really lost the funny. And they tried to bring it back, but it was too cringy. I like, what's his name? Blame. The manga Blame. The artist that does Blame is just that's the wildest stuff you can see. He did even a version of Wolverine. Tsutomu Nihei. Tsutomu Nihei. Yeah, the cyberpunk influence artwork. His artwork is insane. And I've been watching a lot of analysis about Berserker, but to me, Blame, the artwork on Blame is better than the artwork on Berserker. But that's just a matter of taste. I'm not saying it is better. I'm just really, for my taste, the artwork on Blame is just like, it's too much. It's just incredible. The story doesn't make any sense, but it's definitely worth watching. And he's done some. There's some anime designed by Tsutomu Nihei, but it's not Blame. It's some other series. I don't know if they brought Blame to life. I don't think they have. Do you ever consider yourself to be an empath? I've considered it. The answer is no, I'm not. I struggle to understand other people's emotions to a point, and I also do not care anymore. I'm a little sorry. I mean, unless there's people really close to me, then I'll really try to be helpful. Otherwise, I'm not an empath. Hell yeah, I have Goku and Vegeta tattooed on my leg. Well, hey dude, tag me on Instagram and with a photo and I'll repost that. I'd love to see that. DBZ Super is great. Is it? Is it? Is it better than original Dragon Ball? Is it? Is it really? I'm sure the production value is, but the storyline can't be. I know that it's got a lot of fans. But you know what? I wish they did Dragon Ball like they do for movies, where they cut out all of the fat. If they just cut out the fat in most of those mangas, it would be so much more fun to watch. I love what's it called? Chevalier du Zodiac in French, Saint Seiya. But Saint Seiya had too much fat. How many times can I see that same punching scene? Just get into the story. There were just fillers, too many fillers. Do you have any method for managing your ADHD? Well, those affirmations and those triggers detections, just a lot of therapy to understand how it works, and medication when I need it. Never heard of Blame? I'll check it out. Check it out. Just type Blame manga on Google and it will come up immediately. Do you have any favorite works of fiction? I guess you mean books. I don't read that many books because with my ADHD, honestly, I just get asleep. My favorite book of fiction of all time is The Long Walk by Richard Bachman, and Richard Bachman being Stephen King. So for a while he was writing some novels that he felt didn't fit under the Stephen King name, under the name Richard Bachman. Bachman, B-A-C-H man. And yeah, I found the first edition of that. I mean, it's not in great shape, but I found the first edition of that when I was in Maine. And it's one of my I'm very happy to own it. But I first read it when I was in high school. A friend of mine lent it to me and I just couldn't believe the storyline. To this date, of all the movies that have been done on Stephen King novels, I still don't understand why nobody has done The Long Walk. It's so easy to make. It's so doable. Like, it doesn't require a huge budget. The storyline is so good. You didn't say it was better. No, you didn't. But don't worry, it's not a competition. If whoever enjoys something, enjoy that. I heard this philosophy: when you have a day where nothing is going on and it's boring, it means that day was a filler episode. That's a pretty good outlook on it. I wish there were less, though. Check out North by Northwest in case you haven't. Thank me later. 1959 film. Have I watched this? I haven't seen North by Northwest. Cary Grant. Oh, Hitchcock. If it's a Hitchcock, I must have seen it. Because they used to play, but I must know it under its French title. Because when I was a kid, they were cycling through, they had Hitchcock cycles on TV, on French TV, and they would just show us, every week there was a new Hitchcock movie, so I've seen all of them, but I just don't know the French title. What's the French title? Let's see. La Mort aux Trousses. Okay, yeah, I have definitely seen that, but I do not remember it, so maybe worth rewatching. I haven't seen Hitchcock movies in a long time, and I think it'd be great to watch them again. So much good stuff. I watched, obviously, of course, I've watched Psycho. But anyway, I don't know where I wanted to get with that. Was Anne Frank the most creative storyteller from the Holocaust? If not, who was? I don't know enough about writers during that period, so I have no clue. I don't know what the answer is. How many inches bigger than Hans Kim? I haven't seen his, so I can't say, but I am assuming it is bigger. When movie recommendations, something with lots of twists and turns on the level of Old Boy. Oh, that's from my friend Chris Rauffeisen in Bangkok. He's a comedian that didn't get picked on Kill Tony. He was sharing my Airbnb when I was in Austin the first time. Check him out at Bangkok Comic, okay? And if you're in Thailand, go to Raw Comedy. Dude, if you're into Old Boy, remember, Old Boy was the third movie in a trilogy of vengeance done by the same director. And there's the first movie, well, actually it was the second one. The first movie was called Mr. Vengeance, then there was Old Boy, and then there was Lady Vengeance, or Vengeance really was the title. Revenge Trilogy. The Vengeance Trilogy. Lady Vengeance, yeah, by Park Chan-wook. Definitely. Though the 3 movies are amazing, completely different storylines. I would say the other 2 are less action-packed. Korean cinema from back then is just so amazing. Watch Audition. Audition. That's crazy. That's a Audition movie. But I don't think it's Korean. I think that one's Japanese. Yeah. Ryo Ishibashi. No, that's the actor. That's a Japanese movie. Watch Audition from 1999, Chris. Watch that. It's great. Do you think it was a mistake to challenge Hans? No, I ended up playing at the Kia forum. You were already a golden ticket winner and could have appeared when you wanted. Did every golden ticket appear? Maybe I would have ended up on the show regardless, but I didn't know that at the time. But you know what ended up happening with me challenging Hans is I was on the poster for the Kia forum. And that's pretty cool, man. Nobody can take that away from me. Which language do you default to when writing jokes? It really depends on the moment. Mostly English, but I would say it's 30 to 40% French. You kill, man. Yeah, I know. Thank you. Favorite dessert? Rice pudding, maybe, in Spain, if I have access to it. Churros. Depends. I'm not a big dessert guy. I generally skip dessert. How is possible? That's my friend Nikos Pantelis. He's a Greek comedian here, based here in Brussels. He's been opening for all of the major Greek comedians that have been touring Europe. Check out his Instagram, Nikos Pantelis. He asked me, how is it possible that your haircut is extremely sexy? I'm jealous. He keeps telling me gay stuff, and at this point, I'm starting to believe him. I just have the same hairline my grandpa did, so I haven't done much. What's your body count? Not that big for my age. Have you ever played the game Gothic PC game? I've heard about it. I have not played it. I'm sorry. I just want to stay out of gaming. I'd rather use my time to either sleep or write. But the moment GTA comes out, I'm going to disappear. Has anyone really ever been as far as decided to even want to do more look-like? Congratulations for writing a joke that was really long, writing a question that was really long and it was impossible to understand. Why is your name 10 and not Diaz? So that's a fair question. My name is not 10, it's not Diez, it's Diez. So there's an accent on the I if you pronounce it correctly. The same way it says Diaz, not Diaz. So you see it sounds slightly different. But I have to spell it with a dot because anybody who's not Spanish can't deal with accents on names. But so the spelling is Diez, but it's actually pronounced Diez. Do you have a Switch? No. One of my friends had one, and I think it's a great gaming system. But I just don't have time to play. Honestly, I have no time to play. I'm working, then I try to have a little nap, and then I'm performing. Are you familiar with the comedian Nicolas De Santo? Yeah, I am. He's great. He's just great. Just keep watching his stuff. He's just funny as hell. Do you think old people should have to take a driver's test? Yes, 100%. And I'm saying this with empathy, even though I'm not an empath. But I say it because my grandma was driving for too long. She almost got into a few accidents towards the end. And she had to decide to stop. She had a couple of close calls and she was like, I'm done. But if she had taken driver's tests, they would have taken the decision for her, which I think would have maybe bruised her ego a little bit, but it would have been less bad than chancing it for anybody around her. If she had, imagine she had hit anybody. And I'm assuming this happens all the time, old people that can't drive anymore, and they just don't notice it, don't accept it. Or they live in remote areas where they still have to drive to get to a shop. What do you do with those people? I think if you live in the countryside, you should be a little more lenient, but even so, then you should have some service to help those people out. You can't leave people in the countryside just stuck. That's my fear. Where from Spain are you, and do you think returning at some point? I was born in Madrid. My dad's family's in the Basque country. I'm not in touch with them. I could be in touch with them, but it's just been estranged over time. They're lovely people. And also from my mom's family, we're from Catalonia. I go to Catalonia or Madrid on average once a year. Now with comedy, a little less, unfortunately. Do I think of going back? On holidays, yes, to live, not until I decide to retire. Do you think Nadal will retire at the US Open? I think Nadal will retire when Nadal decides to retire. And he's given us so much. He can do whatever he wants. Have you watched the House MD TV series? The writers for it were super funny. I watched some of it. I wasn't a huge fan of the format of the show. I think the main reason for that was I was watching so much TV back then that I had other shows that I liked more, and that's about it. The show was amazing, really well written show, just not for me at the time. And there's so much content now that I have no time to go back to it. Who's your favorite author? Richard Bachman. Do you understand Tony using hand skim as protection from being cancelled again? Is it enough? If Tony did something that deserves cancellation, I don't think that him having hand skim on the show would change anything. And so it's not for me to understand or not. They run the show however they want. Don't know if you've answered before, but who are some old comics that you look up to? Or why did you start comedy? I've answered this before. It's okay to answer it again. Older comics that I look up to. Rodney Dangerfield is a one-liner. Mitch Hedberg is a one-liner. Stephen Wright is a one-liner. Jimmy Carr is a one-liner. Richard Pryor as breaking ground for freedom on stage. Sam Kinison for the same reason. I love Louis C.K. for the mix between joke structure and content. Do you think, no, okay, that's already answered. You can't give Americans times outside of our zones. Yeah, that's your fault. How many Korean women you F after losing to Hans Kim? None. Do you prefer women who look like Tony Hinchcliffe? If women that look like Tony Hinchcliffe are pretty cute. There's worse looking people that look like Tony Hinchcliffe. Notice you posted something supportive. You posted nothing support of Israel. What's up with that? My comedy is not political. I keep my political views to myself, as is my right. When are you coming to Mexico? Dude, people want me over in Mexico. I definitely need to go. What happened in your childhood? I had a childhood. I don't know whatever happened in anybody else's childhood. Make jokes about Building 7. No, you write them. I'll write jokes about whatever I want to write about. How does a building fall without getting hit by a plane? Was Building 7 the Pentagon building? Oh, okay, no, I see which building it is. You know that, funnily enough, I was in New York on September 11, 1 year prior. So it was a close call. And I was under the Twin Towers visiting, and then I thought, I didn't have a lot of money, I was a student, and I was like, okay, I have to choose between going to see the Empire State or the Twin Towers, and I went to the Empire State. So in hindsight, great choice. Or not a good choice. I wish I had seen the Twin Towers. I mean, I saw them from the bottom. Well, I mean, the Building 7 was actually quite close to the Twin Towers, so depending on how the foundations were built, the tremors, I'm surprised not more buildings fell, to be honest. And it looks like Building 7 was a standalone building that wasn't really stuck to supported by other buildings, or was pretty much a standalone building. It had at least 3 open sides, right? Yeah, it was a standalone. It was a really standalone building. If it had poor foundations, that building's a goner. Yeah, that's it looks cement and windows. Yeah, probably poor building materials. I've been in an earthquake myself, so I'll talk about that when the timing is right. How did you end up in Brussels? I kidnapped my mom when I was 7. What's your vocal range? It's terrible. I should work on it. If you had to choose someone to replace Tony as a host, who would it be? It's a great question. I don't know what Tony would answer to that. What if he got sick and he couldn't make it? I guess it'd cancel. It's called Kill Tony. It would end up being someone that's really close to Tony, and somebody who's got a little bit of a mean streak but a fair streak, right? Somebody who's got that edge. I think somebody who's quick on their feet would have to be Mark Norman. Somebody who's going to roast but also be nice to people. But maybe I don't know. But you have to also manage the timing of the show at the same time, because that's something people don't notice. But Tony's constantly managing the timing, so he's making sure he has to go faster or slower. He's the one running the timing. I mean, the timing is also run by Redban, but Tony's taking the decision at the same time. So it's a lot of work. I don't know who has the ability to run the show and take all of those decisions at the same time. I don't know. Maybe William? I don't know if William would like to do it. If Hans was black, would you have worked harder to beat him? If Hans was black, he would be funny. That's a joke. What did Hans say to you after the Kiev Forum loss? That I used him effectively. Why didn't you roast Hans Kim during the 2-minute act? Because we're there, because the rules are you do your comedy. It's not a roast battle. If we wanted a roast battle format, we would have decided that. And I would have crushed him. That's my belief. Maybe not. Some of the best comedians have a style like Mitch Hedberg and Anthony Jeselnik. Yeah, and it takes years to develop it. Not a question, but please don't ever stop your comedic style. I'll try. Yeah, I don't plan to stop. Does the carpet match the drapes? Yes. I'm not a surprised redhead down there. Might you be into punk rock by any chance? I was when I was young. I don't listen to it much now. But I respect the philosophy, what's it called? The underlying philosophy of punk is something I'm really attached to. What's your love life like? Disappointing. I have no time for a good love life. Really don't. I'm so sorry going through this. Things will get better, I promise. I'm here for you. What are you talking about? I'm pretty good. Should the opening spot on KT be a rotation of regulars and golden ticket winners, or one person? I think more news coming soon about that, from what I understand. Let's see. Are you going to start writing any funny jokes? Nah, I'm gonna keep being unfunny. So please do not come to my shows, support me, watch my content, or be there in any way, shape, or form. I think we're pretty done, right? 68 minutes in. Roseanne would be an awesome replacement. She'd need help, yeah, so then she'd be a great guest, but not a great host. Do you get to meet Adam Ray? And if yes, what's your opinion of him? I think he's one of the most talented and hardworking people I have ever met. And I told him so in person. His grind is just unbelievable, and every comedian agrees. Adam Ray is a workhorse. So all respect to Adam Ray. If you were a noble, would you exercise the right of prima nocta? I actually have some blue blood in my genes, a little bit, small percentage from Ireland. And no, I would not. Ugh. No. If she loves, I don't want to be with a woman that doesn't want to be with me. All right, are we done? Hola, Papa. Papa. Hola. What's your school background? Well, I went to a tiny private school that was near my home, like some new age bullshit school in Spain before I moved out. Then I came to Brussels. I went to a public school for a while called Lycée d'Ashbeek. It was a good school, but not in a good area, I think. Can't remember where it is. And then I went to a private school in Brussels, an international school. Then I went to university in Brussels, a public university. It's called Université Libre de Bruxelles, where tuition here was, back in the day, but still was nothing. Tuition was less than $1,000 a year. And I studied economics there, and it's $1,000, less than 1,000 back in the day. Now it's more. Now it's closer to like $4,000 to $5,000, if I understand correctly, from some friends who are in it now. But the point was, it's cheap to get in, but it's just incredibly competitive, just the amount of pupils. Like, my classes were like 300 to 400 people, and now it's like, because of online classes, like 2,000 people. It's incredibly competitive to get through. So that's what I did. I studied economics, and then I did a master's degree in Spain. I went back to Spain to study a master's degree in environmental politics and management. And that's how I started working. I started working in environment-related stuff. Anyway, guys, you guys have been amazing. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching this online later when you watch it. Thank you for your questions. I'll do another one next week, and see you guys. Take care. Bye-bye.